I'm Dr. Melissa, the Purpose Prophetess, and this is my story. My earliest memory was not a great one. It was the vision of my mother frantically running back and forth, stuffing garbage bags full of clothing. And I can remember standing at the doorway so confused because I'd never seen her that frantic about anything. And I remember a few moments after that, hearing a horn blow. My mother instructed me to open the door, and I saw my uncle's car parked out in front of our house. I can recall my mother instructed me to grab my 2-year-old sister. She had my 8-month-old sister in her arms. We hurried down the steps and got into the car. Intuitively, I knew something major was happening, even though I didn't really cognitively understand. And so as we drove off, I remember pressing my face to the rear view window, just with my hands like this, and watching my house sort of get smaller and smaller in the distance. What was really happening, I later learned, was that I was watching my middle-class life fade into the distance. And I was about to embark upon a time in my life that was filled with extreme poverty and lack, as my mom struggled to raise 3 girls alone. So when I think about my childhood, I often use the word chaotic. It came with all of the chaos that comes from poverty and lack. Uncertainty, instability, wanting, needing, all of that. But at the same time, there was something beautiful in our story. And when I say our story, I mean my mom and my 2 sisters and I. I got so much value from how my mom navigated that time period. She was a woman of resilience. She was a MacGyver. Okay, she could take nothing and make something out of it. Mayonnaise jars and jelly jars became glassware. She just had that knack for doing that. We played with flashlights in the dark, and I didn't know that it was because the utilities were disconnected. She made a game out of it. While I had the chaos of poverty, I also had a strong sense of family, of loyalty, of hard work. All of that was built in. So it was, when I say chaos, I say it with a smile, because it was also the things that gave me the grit. It was the grit that I was able to walk away with. The biggest challenge that I faced during my formative years, I would have said to you a few years ago, it was growing up in poverty, but that wasn't the real challenge. The biggest challenge was living a life of duality. You see, while I lived in this extreme poverty with my mom, my dad was this middle-class guy. He was the guy. So kind, so considerate, so hardworking. Every other week, my sister and I were whisked off to be with him, which we loved. But what it did was it presented me with the reality that I really, truly didn't fit in anywhere. And what I mean about that is that in one world, I talked too much. I asked too many questions. I was too smart. I was too bright. So I learned that I needed to dim my light so that the people around me didn't feel intimidated, even as a child, so that they would be more comfortable accommodating me. But in the other world, I was not enough. I was the poor kid from the dirt road. So I learned that I needed to accommodate the room. When I walked into a room, I always asked the room, what do you need me to be? How much shine can you take? And then I accommodated and adjusted myself to accommodate that room. I realized that I was trying to be everything to everyone all the time. I decided early on I needed to craft an escape plan from poverty. The way that I crafted that plan was I became a bona fide, certified box checker. I did my research. What do you need to do? Who do you need to be to have the American dream? And so I set my course on doing that. First person to go to college in my family? Check. Got the master's degree? Check. Got the doctorate degree? Check. Met and married my college sweetheart? Check. Had 4 beautiful children and 3 dogs. Started our own business. Watched that business grow and scale to multiple locations. I made it. I was like, whew, we did it. What I discovered, though, in my box checking is that the boxes changed. It's amazing. I would go to bed at night and thought I had checked all the boxes. And then magically I would wake up in the morning and somebody had erased the check from the box. I realized that it was because my to-do list, my checks and boxes were never coming from me. It was always externally. Who did they need me to be? What role did I need to play? What did I need to give to them? And so while I was checking all of these boxes, I was checking boxes for external things. I realized that I had become a human doing instead of a human being. I was doing all of the things, but I was not being who I was really supposed to be. 2018, Virginia. I am riding shotgun in the car with my husband at that time of 27 years. And we have experienced great success with our businesses, and we're about to buy another home. And so we are following behind our realtors. And then something crazy happened. He started driving on the wrong side of the road. I can remember screaming, like, "What are you doing?" And he was completely oblivious to that. Fast forward, hospital rooms, medical machinery, bright lights, and then that voice from the doctor with the real sad, apologetic eyes. It's cancer, brain cancer, stage 4, terminal. And in that moment, the plan A, the well-crafted plan, the "I made it," blew up in my face. It became nothing. It was one of the most pivotal moments of my life, in a life that has been filled with ups and downs and peaks and valleys and all of that. It changed everything for me. My husband fought valiantly for 4 years before he passed away in 2022. During that time period, I discovered something that I don't think I would have known had this tragedy not happened in my life. I discovered that beneath the houses and the businesses and the suits and the shoes and the titles, I didn't have a clue who I was. I didn't have a clue. I was being all of the things that people told me I needed to be. What changed for me then was that I found myself trying to navigate life for the first time in over 30 years. And it was in that pivot that drove me straight into my purpose. My true calling was to stop being afraid of hiding, stop being afraid of being seen, and to step out and to create this space for other people to become fully and authentically who they were called to be, unapologetically. For me, failure means falling short. You know, Nelson Mandela has a quote that I live by, and he said, "I never lose. I either win or learn." Failure is not fatal, it's foundational. Everything that I've ever tried to do that didn't quite make it the way I wanted it to became foundational for the next step. My get up is always better for the fall. If I had an opportunity to talk to Melissa at 20, I would say to her, "Shine, baby." It's not about shining brighter than anyone else. It's just about you shining. It's about you not walking in a room and asking for permission to be. Any room that can't accommodate your shine is just not your room, and it's okay. Find the room that will accommodate it. There is a room for you. And I would say to her, you're gonna go through some things, you're gonna have some crying days, but you're gonna be better for it. I am driven by the fact that there are countless people out there who don't understand that the time of asking for permission is over. It's time to serve notice. I was created to bring something to this world that nobody can bring quite like me. And that's the same thing for all of us. There's a calling and a purpose on your life. And it doesn't matter if 1,000 people are doing what you do, they can't do it the way you do it. There's something about the sound of your voice, your cadence, your quirkiness, all of those things that sometimes we look in the mirror and we say, I wish I was better, and I wish I had this, and I wish I had that. And we don't understand that that thing that you got, nobody else got it quite like you. And somebody needs it. So what drives me is the hope and the belief that just one person can look in the mirror and say, it's me, and she's good. Some people will like them, some people won't. Some people will accept her, some people won't. And it's okay, because this is who I am. authentically, unapologetically me.